morning.
What's up, everyone? It is Tuesday morning. It is 10/27/2020. It is 8:30. You know what time it is. Yeah, it's quick brew time. Actually, this isn't going to be
early brew.
This isn't going to be a quick brew, folks. This is going to be one of those brews that you guys need to sit down, sip on, enjoy, get caffeinated, and get ready to get excited about your day. Today, we have a special guest on our show. I'm real excited.
Yeah.
I'm Fred, the subprime hero.
And I'm Lou Ramirez, the card guy. And you are on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. Good morning, car guys and car gals. Good morning, solutionaries. Good morning, all of you that are trying to find a way to make this world shine just a little bit brighter because of your glow. Welcome to the cafe. We are excited to pour a little something inside of your cup for you to take with you to make this world better. So let's energize this thing. Let's get some forgive, focus, and flying going.
Y'all ready to
dance?
Get
that trumpet going.
Here we go.
Let's go ahead and get the day started, everybody.
Right?
Let's go.
Boom. I love that intro, man. I'm so excited. That really does get me pumped up. I got my stuff shared out there. Hope you guys are out there sharing right now for us. Make sure that you guys, if you're watching this right now, share. Get this out there because we're about to drop some great knowledge. We're about to bring some solutions for you, your business, for everyone out there. Let's get it going. Today we have a special guest, and the special guest is an amazing person. I've actually
might have heard of him.
You might have heard of this guy. You might have seen him on social media. You might have seen some of his posts. You might have seen some of his podcasts. You might have seen some of his everything that he does. I'm excited to have him. It's Sandy. Ooh, I'm actually.
Whoa! Man, he needs a little bit more of a build up than that.
Build up
for
me,
He is
Lou.
a problem solver from coast to coast, continent to continent. He is not just a solutionary, but he is also known as the solutionist. He is right. Sandy Cerami.
Woo! Welcome, my man. What's up, fellas?
What's up? Good morning, man. We appreciate you for being here, folks. This guy is awesome. We've been having a conversation for about 20 minutes before the show started, and the conversation we should have went live with that because it was some really good nuggets in that alone by itself.
We were dropping content all over the floor for 20 minutes, like a couple of dopes here, you know.
We should have just hit a record button or something, but that's okay. Just that little bit of time was just a little bit. We're going to drop some really good knowledge here. I know that Sandy's going to bring some stuff.
Good prime.
I'm excited to hit him with this 5-liner because that's cool. I want to really hear the backstory of Sandy. I want to see where he comes from. I want to see what his motivation is. So I'm pumped up about that this morning, Lou.
We are really, really excited to have you in here. There's so much that's stirring inside of the auto industry. And there's so many people that are actually starting to get a seat on this ride. and try to envision going someplace that they've never been before. The business is going someplace that it's never been before, and the potential for growth is huge. And there's so many people that are actually spotting it out, like saying, "There, you guys see it," and trying to get others to get it right. And it's literally in his name, the solutionist. He is trying to find a way where there is no way. Well, just welcome. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
I appreciate it, guys. I've been looking forward to it. You know, Fred and I have been back and forth on social media for a couple of months now. I literally called him on IG. I said, that dude has energy. I need to be around that. And we literally cultivated a relationship vis-a-vis social media, which is what I love about it.
Absolutely. And that's been what's beautiful. Like, I think a lot of people, well, the smart people out there during this whole situation that we've been through, during quarantine, during this, during that, have taken advantage of social media, have used it to the fullest, much better than they were before. Because this social media game, wow, there's so much out there. You can literally become best friends with somebody without ever meeting them.
100%.
And that's the way this world is starting to become. But is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think to me, it's great. Is there some sadness?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both, Fred. I think you're 100% right. I think that there are some really positive aspects to it. There's also some drawbacks. I don't think that it should be just the social media piece. I think there's an element of the hierarchy in this world that is trying to drive it that way. Maybe the folks in Silicon Valley, I don't know, just a thought. But I think you have to have the ability to communicate and connect on both a social media level, but also an interpersonal, live and in-person level too. I think that both of those skills will serve people very well.
Absolutely.
There's another nugget for you guys.
There is. We're in technology land, right?
Yeah.
And so, but it doesn't take away the human.
Yeah.
People are able to not just buy their car or find the right vehicle online. They're able to find a spouse on the internet. Okay?
Absolutely. Cars, wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends.
And then when you find out later on that person's digital presence is a whole other person, and so it becomes a reality check in many cases, which is the same thing that happens when people are buying something, right? When people are searching to get something, it's like, okay, your digital presence is this, and my expectations are high. So it's important that we make sure to bridge that gap that says, hey, you are this person that you project to be.
Sure.
And then you're also delivering something even better when they get the real thing, when they get to really shake a hand or hit an elbow or something.
Lou, that's $1 million point, right? What you just said is $1 million point. First of all, we call that in the car business days gone by bait and switch. All right, let's be clear about that. Yes. But what you just said is spot on. When you can exceed the expectations that people have based on an online experience that they've had with you or a social media experience, when you're live and in person, then you've got something. That's magic.
That's right. That's right. Just like Car Guy Coffee. So car guys and car gals, we wanted to let you know that if you go to carguycoffee.com, you can see all these previous episodes. You can also get you some of this caffeinated consistency, because this is a true car guy that's in here and he's sipping solutions inside of the cafe. We want to thank our sponsors this morning. Thank you, Elite FI Partners and Think Ad Group.
Woo!
Thank you so much for
being
here.
Thank you very much. These two groups are amazing. They are solutionists in their own right. They're out there just trying to help people. They're out there just trying to find a way to make sure that your business, that your personal brand, or whatever it is that you're trying to work on is better than it was the day before. That's all they're trying to do.
That's it.
So make sure you guys get a hold of them. They're awesome. Matter of fact, another person who's really good at that is Sandy. Make sure you guys reach out to Sandy too. We got his email address down here at the bottom. We'll talk about that some more as we go through the show. But man, I'm excited. This 5-liner is going to be hot. It's going to be great. I'm ready to get it going. How about you?
I'm ready to do this. So
let's do this.
The first first
you know,
for us to get into the mode of growing, folks. If we want to keep growing, you got to apply 3 F's. Sandy, join us as we bring this revolution to an industry
Let's do it.
That at heart gets people to fly to heights that they've only dreamed of. On 3, everybody, we're going to forgive, focus, fly. 1, put the hands on the shoulders. This is the symbol is to wipe the dust, wipe the unforgiveness off the shoulders. On 3, 1, 2, 3, forgive. Wipe it off. Focus on where you're going and fly and keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. That's right. Can't wait to have an entire arena.
I don't even have to work out now. There's my exercise for the day.
Perfect. Keep doing. Pop, 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 pop.
Yes.
By the way, Lou's got the moves. I've seen a couple of the shows. Like Lou, He's got the moves.
Oh,
There's no doubt.
You should see him on a daily. This guy, I've known him for almost 2 decades now, and that's all he does. He's like, he walks in the showroom, he goes, I just want to dance. He does. He gets it going. He gets it going, and that's part of what Car Guy Coffee, and not to talk too much, we've talked about it before, but Car Guy Coffee all came about because of Lou, really, the name. The
right.
Because he would come into the showroom so energized like that his salesperson would go, what are you on? And he said,
in this business, it can be a lot of things, right?
Right, yeah.
There's so many different things.
What are you on? How do you get so motivated in the morning? And Lou says, Car Guy Coffee. And that's how
I'm on my next deal. That's what I'm on.
Yes, I am too.
So
that's a good one. Get you some. So let's get this thing rolling, man.
Let's go.
So I'm going to ask you 5 questions, Sandy. And these 5 questions are very similar than the one I asked a lot of people. I switch it up a little bit, but the very first one's always the same. And it's your why, what your purpose is. So Sandy, what gets you up? What motivates you? What makes you say, you know what? I'm going to make my business blow up. I'm going to make sure that my personal brand's good. I'm going to make sure my family life's good. What is that motivation?
I mean, the internal, really special motivation for me is my wife, Mary, my son, Patrick, my daughter, Anna. I have experienced life at the very top. I've experienced life at the very bottom. I promise you guys. And I'm not here having this conversation with you guys without my wife, Mary, saying 4 words to me when I needed to hear them the most about 10 years ago. I believe in you, because I had a voice in my head that was telling me everything but. So my why every single day is to make sure that I make them proud and honor, what they've done for me over the course of the last 10 years, picking me up off the canvas and dusting me off and then pushing me back out into the world. So I want to do the same thing for other people. I mean, I get up every single morning with a mission to help people that are willing to help themselves. And if that's a matter of helping them grow past a fear, false evidence appearing real, by the way, fear, to grow through a challenge, to break through to a new performance level, to get them to think differently or think better than they've been thinking previously. That's the reason I get up every single morning. I bounce out of bed. I say thank you every single morning when I get up.
Wow. That's I love how you tie your why in with, it's like a gratitude thing too, because you have gratitude for your family. You have gratitude for
100%.
For her having your back these last 10 years. I'm sure these last 10 years have been amazing for you, and that the growth that you've had personally.
It's been interesting.
Yeah. So, and that being said, it's good to have that. It is good to have that type of burning inside of you that lets you know you are good enough, that you are more than you believe, and you can always be more than you even thought you could be, just by putting the work in put the effort in there, having your purpose, having the people that support you, and then putting the work in, because the work is all of it. A lot of people want things, but they don't want to put the work in. They just say, I want
100%.
But you
Fred, you're absolutely spot on. It's funny because the thing, and we were talking about this off camera before we even started rolling here. We were talking about the fact that certain people have had a challenge with respect to social media. I'm not dropping any names here, just people in general have had a challenge. And a lot of it is because the 6-inch space in between their ears is filled with these outside voices that have unfortunately infected or affected how they're thinking. And that's part of what I want to do every single day is when I get around people is to get them to feel good about themselves, to get them to feel good about what they are capable of, to get them to see what I see for them so that they can think a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And you're right. It's how we decide every single day that we're going to actually take on the challenges that we face. I mean, it's critical.
It's so critical that it could impede somebody from becoming everything that they've ever dreamt of being.
Yep.
One decision, one thought could change the entire trajectory of a person's life, depending on who it is that's
absolutely
right. You have this great relationship. I love the why. I mean, so many other great people that we've had the chance to actually brew a conversation with have such a similar heartbeat, right? The people that are closest to them, that know them the most, love them the most, and have given them the most firm, stable standing in life, right? Is you're safe with those people. Those
100%.
are the ones that you start to brush up against. Those are the ones that actually start to peel away the parts of you that don't belong and help you to go out prepared, right? I know if my wife checks me out before I leave in the day, she'll find something either good or she'll give me the compliment. You're good. You're ready to rock.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'll say,
She sounds very similar to my wife. Yeah, let me pick out a couple of things that are imperfect, and then I can send the more perfect person out into the world today.
There you go. Exactly. And that's
Right.
we need that. That is so crucial. That is so key. But it translates not just from leaving the home, but then when you show up to the job, when you're trying to actually achieve something better, you still need to have those people that are going to brush up against you, whether it's a fellow salesperson on the floor, it's a good mentor manager, or it's even the customer that you get the chance to be in front of. Because I believe in this business, we have two types of people that they either accept the job as a script reader or a leader. And when we make that transition, we get the chance to actually learn and take lessons with us. So I'm inspired. I'm just excited that you're here this morning and we get the chance to talk. Can't wait till we do really have a sit around where we don't have the lights and the cameras and we can just continue a fun conversation. But you do make it nice and easy to talk. And I want to find out how you made it to the car business. So I guess hitting in question number 2 is what got you in this fun business?
So it's a great question. It's a story that's happy and true, with a bunch of bumps in the road. I can tell you that. I mean, I was born into the business. I'm a third generation car guy, if you will. My grandfather got into the business back in the 30s, buying and selling used cars by accident. That's a much longer story, which I'm not going to put you through today. But suffice to say, it was a completely accidental experience getting into the used car business, then getting into the new car business. He ended up as a Pontiac dealer in 1957 when it was not exactly a good time to be a Pontiac dealer. But a couple of years later, a guy by the name of John DeLorean stumbled onto the scene and pretty much breathed new life into the brand. And, my family went on a great run for years in the 60s, in the 70s, and the 80s. We were the number one Pontiac dealer in New Jersey for, more than a decade. I claim no credit there. I was a kid running around the dealership lot at 6, 7, 8 years of age, washing cars, changing license plates, anything I could do to be around the business. I love the people of the business. I don't know a damn thing about fixing a car. I'm not the guy that's going to go in there and change his own oil and rotate his own tires or, get under the hood of a car. I couldn't tell you what engine a car has in it, but what I loved about the business was the people and the business piece of it. And I had the good fortune of coming into the business after, you guys familiar with the Anheuser-Busch scholarship program that was sponsored by the Blutarski family?
No, but that's interesting. Go ahead and talk about that.
So I went to University of Rhode Island in 1986 and decided that I was going to spend a year burning through about $10,000 of my dad's hard-earned money, having a lot of fun, but not getting too much work done. But always known I wanted to come back into the car business. That was ultimately what I wanted to do anyway. And so I spent a year in college on the Blutarski scholarship, as I said before, sponsored by Anheuser-Busch, which is to say that I just, blew off the educational piece. Now I look back on that today and say I just wasn't ready to learn, if you will, but I wanted to work. And I went right into the car business in 1987. Have been there ever since. And so, I had a really interesting run. In 2001, my grandfather passed away. The estate plan was a little bit dated, let's put it that way. Caused a little bit of dissension amongst family members, but ultimately we put Humpty Dumpty back together again and then had a great run. My wife and I owned the store from 2002 all the way through to the end of 2008 when we decided to put the key in the door with the GM bankruptcy proceeding. We had no idea that was going to happen. We just knew the business was really tough at that point in time. And we shut the doors on a 52-year-old business. Probably the lowest moment of my life, second lowest moment of my life. It was Black Friday of 2008, the day after Thanksgiving, when we announced that we were going to shut the doors. And truthfully, fellas, at that point in time, I had a lot of terrible voices going on in my head, telling me that I was a failure, that I pushed all the chips to the center of the table because we took everything we had and put it into the center of the table to buy the store. That's both Mary and I. 2 little kids at home at that point in time, toddlers running around, and no college education, and not a very bright future in my mind at that point. GM bankruptcy gets announced, our deal gets tossed. I end up in May of 2009, like walking around like Kane from Kung Fu. We're just walking the earth, having an experience. And I walk into the back door of my house, and I had to tell my wife that we were, 5 months past due on the mortgage, that they had started foreclosure proceedings, and She looked me right in the eyes and she said, and I have tears streaming down my cheeks. Like I'm done. I had $11 in my pocket. I was overdrawn in all three of my checking accounts, 2 business accounts and a personal account. And I had no place to go. I walked in the back door of her house. She says, I love you. I believe in you. Those 4 words like changed everything for me. But you got to go do something because something is better than nothing. And that started me on the path to where we are today. I literally went to a Starbucks because I had $11. That was all I could afford, was a half a cup of Starbucks. I needed the car guy coffee at that point, fellas.
Right. You know
Right.
it.
So I wrote down a list of 328 people that I thought I could actually reach out to get advice, to get some input, to help me develop the business that I had thought of in terms of training and placing salespeople in the car business, because I knew we could do it better. We were always a top performer with our brands. We were always market effective. And I built this business plan out that ended up evolving to what it is today, which is a full-blown consulting platform. We work not just in sales and service, but across the entire scope of a dealership operation, and have gone outside of automotive in the last 5 years, which has been amazing. So that's how I got into the business, and that's where I am, ultimately today.
Wow. I love that story. I know that story can bring pain, but it also brings a lot of joy because that was a big turning point in your life. It was also a big point where you realized how much your wife supported you and how much she really believed in you, because it takes a lot of belief. You know what? As bad as all that sounds, and that's almost, and to some people, that is rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't.
I was there, bro. I can tell you rock bottom for me was May of 2009, like rock bottom. And I put a post up the other day on social media about rock bottom because I was thinking about it. And, I made a decision when Mary said to me, I believe in you, to actually take rock bottom and make that the foundation and not my excuse for failure. Like, I did not want to have it be an excuse for failure because I felt I'd let everybody down. But I always had this gnawing feeling internally, really deep inside of me, that it just wasn't meant to be the way it was. But I had something bigger planned, and I just had to figure out what the hell it was.
Absolutely. And you're finding it, and you definitely are on that mission right now. And I'm so excited for you. That story, I didn't know that story about you. No. I didn't know that you went through that. I didn't know that there was issues like that. I didn't know that you had to, give up a store after 52 years of it being in business. I could imagine the pain that you felt, like almost shame in a sense. But
100%.
But the beautiful thing is the support system. That's what's so beautiful about having that partner in your life, your battle buddy, and that's your wife. Your wife.
Yeah.
We, lose my battle buddy here, but when it comes to my life, my wife is my battle buddy. And to have that type of support, you're very fortunate to have that. So your wife is a good woman. I feel like she's
a superhero, bro.
You brag about her all the time. I've heard it, I've seen it, so I know how much that she means to you. How she is a huge key part of your life. So I'm glad that you honor her like that, because that's huge for people. A lot of car guys don't. A lot of car guys put their wives to the side and don't even. They don't have to do nothing. No, that is.
Well, listen, I have not earned my wings yet, Fred. I gotta tell you right now. Like, there are days when she probably wants to just run me over with the car. I get it, but you're right. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Like, I tell you flat out, those 4 words, I believe in you, changed everything for me. Everything.
If you guys have ever been to a wedding, anybody out there been to a wedding, you've probably heard a scripture that sounds similar to, "He that finds a wife finds a good thing." She is the good thing, right?
Amen.
She is the good thing of my life. I know my wife is exactly what keeps me standing upright, right? So no matter
it's balance, right? It's balance for us.
That's right. No matter how far down we go, there's something inside of them. There's that innate mother in them also that helps to raise you back up and say, wipe it up, suck it up, and go get out there. And you deserve better. You deserve 100%. Better, right? There's no mother out there that doesn't fight like heck to make sure that their child gets what it is that they're supposed to get.
No doubt.
And when a woman grabs a hold of a man and says, you're going to be everything that I think you're supposed to be, and you're going to be everything that I know you're created to be, and they help to put in that belief, and you're always comforted by their love, regardless of who you are. That's the great thing about having a good, healthy relationship, because it helps you to bounce back.
Amen to that. Yeah. And I tell you, fellas, I think it transcends just, the husband and wife, or the spousal partner relationships. Think about how we want to impact people out there. I was talking about it before, helping people see what they truly can be. to me is the gift that I want to give every single day. When I have an opportunity to interact with somebody, where we're doing hand-to-hand stuff in dealerships, and I see somebody struggling, or I see somebody that's like just a degree off from where they should be in order to explode their success. I feel it's my job, it's my mission when I'm working with those folks to get them to see that, right? To support them, to speak into them the kind of hope and the kind of faith that I have in them, so that they can adopt that for themselves. I think it's critical.
And that's a challenge. That's such a challenge because you're trying to tell them, I see this, and they don't see it yet.
It takes time, Lou. You're right. It's not nobody gets it like that. There's never that like immediate aha moment. You'll have the lights go off when I'm doing a presentation. You'll see people where they have that aha moment. They'll hashtag WTSD, as we see on my coffee cup. Write that shit down. If there's something that's worth remembering or something that's made an impact, you got to write that shit down. When I see that happening, I know they've at least started that process, right? What I want to see them do is to continue to take those steps, and that's why it's got to be something that you continually positively reinforce over time, because nobody gets it like that. It's like your kid walking, right? Think about this. You guys have kids?
Oh, yeah.
I know Fred does. Lou, you got kids?
Oh, yeah,
so when your kids first started walking, they took the first 2 or 3 steps and then they fell down. We didn't walk away and say, well, that one's not a walker. I'm not going to help them any further. You keep helping them along. It's no different when we teach and develop people. That's exactly what we're doing. That's a nod to my man Vin Lamant, by the way, because that's his line. Yeah,
I love that. That one's not a walker.
He's not a walker. Forget it. Sorry.
Hey, before we get to the third question, there's a lot of people
comments.
making comments out here. We got Frank Eckert. He's saying, he put a few out. Let's see. He says, Sandy.
Yeah, my man Frank. Those are my Gulf States Toyota days.
Then you got Ryan Hill saying, good job, Sandy.
What's up, Ryan?
Then Lawrence.
My man down at Gold Coast Cadillac. Larry Moskowitz. Larry Moskowitz is a genius, my man.
Yeah. Well, if he's saying you're awesome, he must be, right? That's right. He said,
Yeah.
Frank said he's known you for over 10 years.
Yeah, I know Frank. Absolutely. Gulf States Toyota days.
Damian Boudreau.
That's $1 million name right there. Damian Boudreau. I wish I had that name.
I know. I'm so jealous of that. I was like,
seriously.
man, bro, he must walk in a bar and just everyone walks up, gives him free drinks the whole night. Shows
No
ID
doubt.
card. Damian Boudreau. So we got Frank saying best podcast
We
ever.
agree.
Thank you so much, Frank. I couldn't agree any more than that, my
so
friend.
Yeah.
You got Larry. He says, I have the honor of working for him.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yikes.
I knew Larry when, and he knew me when. That might not be a good thing. I don't know. Roosevelt. We got to get together, Roosevelt. That dude's a power broker right there. He is a young, smart guy out of the Newark, New Jersey area. Just a cool dude.
I want to hear more about it.
Damien says your story was beautiful, man. That is great. looking good.
Bruno, my man, Bruno.
Bruno says Sandy is one of the few consultants that is a former owner. That makes him an ultimate expert, no doubt, folks.
Now, I don't know about ultimate, but we've learned from experience, B. You know that. And we owe each other a phone call, Bruno, so we can get that done.
So all these years that you've been doing this, Sandy, there's a lot of people out there to support you that love you. I've seen it. I've seen posts that you put out. I see what people write. I've seen you being on shows. I've seen the comments. I've seen your guests who talk to you, who love you. I guess the question I would have is, out of all the people that you've met in this business, and I'm just talking car business, pretty much in particular the automotive business, who has been your biggest influence? Who's been the guy or gal who's helped you get to that next level?
That's a great question. I'd say there's 2 people, right? The first is my dad, who passed away about 3.5 years ago. My dad was like a larger than life personality. He gave me the opportunity to be me, put up with all of my nonsense. We were like courtship of Eddie's father. I went to live with him when I was 11 years old. It was just the 2 of us. My parents were split, and he gave me the chance to make all the mistakes, didn't judge me, beat my ass when I needed to have my ass beaten, I can promise you, but was the greatest influence in terms of getting me to understand the importance of people and relationships. And then the other guy would be Ed Abrazizi, who was the general manager of our store as I was a kid growing up. Wow. And he taught me about stability. He taught me about accountability, responsibility, to be the right kind of person, to take care of people the right way. Taught me a lot about the business itself, the nuts and bolts of the business. Right. And so I'd say those 2 would be the 2 biggest influences I've had in terms of the car business, for sure.
Wow. Big shout
And
outs to
I should say Jim Ziegler, my man, the car guy, the Alpha Dog. I have been an Alpha Dog fan for over 25 years. I call him a friend at this point, but he's been a big influence just in terms of being able to look out on the horizon and see what's coming. He's one of the smartest futurists I've ever seen as it relates to the car business, for sure.
There's no doubt, and the more that I've been involved in social media and the more that I've been able to watch, the Alpha Dog go on shows, have his own show, the whole nine, that guy has a lot of knowledge. He's very, very intuitive. Yeah. And I absolutely like to see what he's talking about, much like you are, Sandy. And you obviously it's hard to see that in yourself, but you're very much like that too. People like you're, guys like Scott. I love Scott too. Scott's
my man, Scott Joseph has had an impact on my life over the last 2+ years. I consider him to be one of my closest friends. He's changed how I think for the better as it relates to business in general. He's one of the smartest people I've ever come across in my entire life. I'm blessed to call him a friend.
Yeah, and that's great. That's so awesome, and I think that you have a great network that you've built up around you. The support system that you have is great, to include starting from home with your family. Now you have great business partners. You have people that you're doing some amazing things with, and it's really fun to watch you grow. And you've been growing for a long time, but it's still fun. I'm a fan, and I just like to see what you're doing. Every time I get a chance to, I see
it goes both ways, by the way, my friend. As I said to you.
I appreciate that. We're doing our best to try to keep up with the guys. We're doing our thing, but the most important thing is we just much like you. What we do best is help other people. And just like you're talking about, you love to go out and be a solutionist for dealerships, for individuals, for whatever you're doing, you're going to be a solutionist for it. That's why we believe we're solutionaries, because when I really sat down and I thought about what do you do best? What do you love to do? It's help people, period. Always has been that since the day I've been alive. And I'm really good at that. And I love doing it. And to meet somebody like you who's on that same level, but just been doing it at a higher level than us for a long time, I'm excited to get to know you. I'm excited to grow with you, to learn from you. So having this conversation right now, going through these 5-liner with you is pretty awesome. For me, it is.
I feel the same way. But Fred, I watch you, and now I just connected with Lou. I sent him a connection request on LinkedIn, and I got to catch him on IG as well. But I've been watching what you do, and the thing that I love about Fred's content and the perspective and focus that you bring is it is about helping people, but the most important thing is it's authentic and genuine. And if it's not authentic and genuine on the social media side, it doesn't play. I'm sorry, it just doesn't play. And if it doesn't match what they see and hear and feel live and in person, then we know it's all bullshit, right? So
it's the key, and honestly, and not to talk about me, but the reason my posts are the way they are, I'm inspired by that. Those quick brews I do daily are quick brews. They're for everybody, but they're really for me. I need to work on this today. So you know what? I'm going to put a post out. Now that's going to hold me accountable. The rest of the day, I'm going to think about making sure I fix that, make sure that I keep working on that issue. And I'm going to be better by the end of the day because of it. Hopefully it does the same thing for other people. So that's all it is. That's why to me, it's authentic, because it's real. It's really from here. It's what I want to do. So
Speaking of authentic, we saw something, or I got to see something on one of your posts. You were inside of a BMW store watching what you're doing, right? And there was an interaction that happened there where you had a little bit of an older salesperson said something wise, said something good, made a good comment about something, right? The younger guy took that, he adopted it and said, "Oh man, that is good. That's good stuff. I'm going to take that. I'm going to use that. It's going to make me a car deal," right? And he made a post about it. He put it out there. He did that. That was that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody see what just happened here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This young man took this and it passed through somebody else's hand, through somebody else's thought pattern, and you helped them to see that. You sitting there helping them. Did you see what happened there? That is so key for people.
Yeah, Lou, I tell you, those are the days that, quite honestly, when I get up in the morning, I'm looking for that every single day that we're working with, dealership, team players, like people that are looking to get better, right? That are not, they're not going to judge the source from which it comes. It's just like, hey, something made sense. I'm going to go use it. I live for those moments as well. And those happen often. I'm excited. And that's why I get out of bed every morning, literally saying thank you, because I get the chance to do it. My cohort in crime, Chris Mulligan, who's been with me for a little over 3 months now, we've expanded the practice at this point because We're drinking out of a fire hose for the last 5 months. A little bit of a COVID impact. But, we say to each other all the time, we get to do this. Like, we actually get to do this, and it blows our minds sometimes. And that's exactly why, what you just talked about.
Seeing the people come alive when they get to see that, but which is the testament, again, to what happens when you unlock this tool of social media. Again, this is just another tool. This is a crazy smart tool, right? Anybody can put their product in front of whatever specific audience they want. And we still don't have the regulation that putting something on the television would be, right? You can't play certain commercials at the times the children are watching, cartoons, right? These regulations, this is still somewhat the wild, wild west, right? We can still get our message out there.
Very much so. That's a good way of putting it, Lou.
We're having fun, but there's so much learning that happens. You've rebuilt your entire persona. You are a testament, my friend, of what this business can be to somebody that loses absolutely everything. You don't know. And again, we're getting familiar with each other, and we'll talk a little bit more. He knows that around that same time you were going through that, I was going through a similar situation.
Right.
And leaning back into the car business and the ability that we have, and having friends, family that said, I believe in you and you're really great. Go be great and go do it and let you free and let you go do your thing. This business allows that for anybody. You don't even need the $11 you had, right, to be able to make it successful.
Yeah, well, it didn't take me too far, buddy. I was knocking on the door going, where can we get some more?
We went to get a coffee, folks. There's something to that.
That's true. That is God's honest truth.
Right there.
I still go to that table, by the way. That same Starbucks is there. I still go to that table in the corner. If it's open when I go there, that's the table I sit in. Just as a reminder, I want to stay, with my feet on the ground, as they say. But what you just said, Lou, is important for people to understand, is that you have to give yourself permission to then go for it. I think there's so many people kind of locked up here in the 6-inch space between their ears, where they're not giving themselves permission to go for it because they either don't feel that they're worthy, or their talent level isn't up to snuff, or, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. We were talking about somebody off camera before we came on. You said, like, the videos weren't so great. And I said, well, they're not supposed to be. When we first get started doing anything, whether it's social media, selling, playing baseball, dancing, it makes no difference. When you first get started, there are very few natural born anythings in the world, let's be honest. And so you're supposed to be really shitty at it before you're ever any good, right? So I want people to have the courage and to give themselves permission to be really crappy at something before they're ever any good, and grow through that experience. It's the only way you get better.
That's exactly it. There's that saying that says, when's the best time to start something? 20 years ago. What's the second best? The second best time is right now. And that is the key. Whether you mess up, whether it doesn't look right, whether your video that you make has crappy quality, whether the sound doesn't sound good,
doesn't matter.
Maybe you said a million times on that video. Who cares? If you go back and you watch Lou and I's first show, if you listen to my first quick brew, there was a lot of stumbles in it, but you know what? That was okay. The key was to keep doing it. And every day I got better. Every day you get better, Sandy. Every day, everybody who's doing this consistently,
every one of us,
we're getting better at this. Just like a basketball player, Michael Jordan didn't come out and could dunk on everybody the very first time he played basketball. He had to work on that. He had to get stronger. He had to get his vertical. He had to learn how to create the space and how to, cross somebody up and get that extra space by him to be able to take it up to the next level. And
it's so true.
It's consistent work every single day. And when you do it, it starts to become almost normal, but at a point where you start to want to change things up even then. That's where that evolution comes. And we have to all understand that too.
Guys, go back to like Gary V. You guys know Gary Vaynerchuk, right?
God, I love Gary V. He's one of my biggest reasons why
he's a beast. He's a beast. I look at Gary V, and if you go back to the earliest days of Wine Library TV on YouTube, and you see the quality and the content of those videos, and he'd be the first one to admit it, which is I love about him, his transparency. He's just raw, and what you see is what you get. Authenticity, right? If you go back to that early content, you'll see exactly what we're talking about here. And I think if people give themselves the opportunity to go back and see that, and then just get started, like just press record, have something meaningful to say. Whether you execute it perfectly or not is not the point. The point is you got to get started,
And people actually love the imperfections. Because when people look at, when I see videos that are just way too perfect, I kind of get bored with them. I like to see people mess up. I almost like watching people's blooper reels, you know, when they put out a reel that shows them messing up multiple times. Because to me, that's authentic. That's real. That's who they are. It shows the struggle. Because everyone, folks, if you're watching this right now and you're struggling about videos, you may even recorded one, but just never posted it because you looked at it and you're like, man, I can't do this. Post it. Does not matter. Just post it. You could ask Lou. Lou was, I came into this and you know what? I jumped in with both feet. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I've only been on social media. I think it was just a couple days ago, 1 year now. People don't realize that, but
wow, bro. Seriously?
Yeah. Now LinkedIn, couple years. I've been on LinkedIn. I started getting encouraged because of LinkedIn, but then I jumped on Facebook 1 year ago, Instagram 1 year ago, and all the other sources, Twitter, TikTok.
Good for you. Yep.
But I went ham with it. I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it because I want to really prove something here. I want to show, because the whole point of what I'm doing is trying to show people to keep growing. And the only way you keep growing is just to take those steps. It's the hardest step is that first step. And I'm sure Sandy agrees. That first step is the toughest one. But once you take that first step, the next step gets easier. And then the steps keep getting easier and easier. So
everybody worries about the dudes in the black robes with the white wigs, right? The judges, they're going to slam the gavel down. Your content stunk. You know what? If that's how they feel, they don't have to watch you.
It's not for
you. Think about the evolution, guys. This really started on, TV, right? With the reality TV series.
Yes.
But, people grew tired of that after a couple of years because it was so scripted and it turned into inauthentic content. So where did they go to get their content? Because they had an appetite for real world, real life stuff is what we're talking about here. They went to social media, and that's why authentic, real, raw works and plays so well. With the content on social media for sure.
And maintaining a commitment to staying consistent. If there's one thing that Fred did, again, you're blown away. And so many people are blown away. Saying it is a year now, it almost seems like a long time. It seemed like so much more when it was like, man, I've only been on social media for 6 months.
Yeah.
When 8 months, right now we're at a full year, but it's still not that long. What he did was he applied a consistent application of content. Boom, 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 that got out there, right? Some people, it's taken them years to lay out that type of a following or a friend group on the social media platforms, right? It takes a time to do that. But he applied simple methods that he did consistently, and it was just real, raw information for today. Today it might hit somebody. 2 weeks from now, it might hit somebody in another video, right? Depending on when it comes out. Get it out there, and then you have a foundation, right? Nope, there's no possible way anybody can get through a day and watch all of Fred's videos, watch all of my videos.
I'm going to ask you a question because we use a great analogy. We'll use the coffee analogy, right? So you guys just started with your special roast, Car Guy Coffee. By the way, make sure you subscribe and get some Car Guy Coffee. I certainly am going to do that as soon as we get finished over here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna start shouting out Car Guy Coffee on my videos.
Get you some.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. But think about this: if you were to take just a scoop of Car Guy Coffee, stick it into a cup, and add hot water, it would taste like shit. That's not what we're looking for. It's got to go through the brewing and the filtration process, and that's what you're talking about, Lou. Is like, let's just continue to go through the process so that we can filter the content over time and figure out what's the right formula for what works and what doesn't work.
Right,
absolutely.
Right. And everybody's flavor and palate is different, right? Everybody takes it in a different way.
Absolutely.
Social media, that's why your game has to be so mixed, right? We are Car Guy Coffee podcast, but we have more people sometimes that are watching us right now live, or watching the YouTube, or just capturing a quick brew, or capturing some great news. Not everybody's getting every piece of the content that's out there, and it's good that you have something. Not everybody walks into Starbucks and gets the same type of coffee. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you're talking like you guys have great short form content. You've got long form content. You've got podcasts. That I think you're right. You have to have an offering throughout the social media universe where you can catch people when they're at high noon and ready to listen to something that you have to say, whether it's short form or long form. And when you offer that type of content, you're going to capture a much bigger audience. The big challenge I see out there is people, they want to grow their followers or their connections and whatnot. And a lot of people fall into the trap of trying to do it inorganically. I've been on Instagram. I think it's going to be for real. Like, I had an Instagram profile probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So I thought it was the pimple faced kid at ShopRite that was bagging my groceries. So I wasn't paying attention to it. Little did I know. Yeah, right. Little did I know. But now I have resisted all of the offers that come in literally 5 times a day. Let me grow your Instagram profile. We can get you 10,000. I don't want to do it that way. I've been bouncing between 800 and 1,500 followers on Instagram for the last like 6 months. I want it to grow organically. If they really like the content, then I want to stay connected to them. If they don't, I don't want to torture them. My goal is to have them enjoy and digest content that is something that's relevant to them. And if it's torture, they get the chance to change the channel and move on.
That's right. I love that you said that, because the organic side. So there's certain businesses, and there's actually, you know, I could say there's probably 2 sides to that coin. And I think that some people would think that organic for their business may not work because it takes too long, right? And I agree with you, Sandy. We are all organic here. I've never paid for any type of booze. Right. I've never paid for any of the stuff. I'm all about the organic, and I take a lot of pride in my organic, that we built what we built all organically. And you're doing the same thing, and I think that's the right thing to do for what we do for a profession. We're not, correct. You know, what we do is we're helping people. So in order for us to help people, I think that if we push it on people, people don't want to be helped if you're throwing it on them. They want to be helped when they're asking for the help. You know what 100%. I mean? So when you build a following like you have organically, you've got people who are watching you organically. They're going to ask for help organically. They're not going to feel like they're pressured or tricked into a funnel or tricked into this. That they're like, you know what, Sandy, I'm going to reach out to you. I want to talk to you. How do I get this thing going? And they're going to do that. I think you're doing the right thing there. Now, on the other side of that coin, now there's those businesses out there that are car dealers. Now, like a car dealership, paying for, I think, some of that stuff to get their stuff out there as deep as I can. Different animal, 100%. It's a whole different animal. It's not an individual anymore. Now it's a business that's just trying to blanket the market, let people know that they're open for this or that. But I'm not looking for everybody, you know, with what I do. My podcast is for people who are trying to grow, people who want to get to the next level. So those people are going to find me organically because they're searching for me organically, right? Just like they're looking for you. And I love that about those people. I love my people who watch my show. I love everybody who's a Car Guy Coffee head. I just think that when they listen to my show, they're getting something from it, and they're not being forced to listen to it. You know what I mean? So you're doing the right thing, and you're going 100% the right way there, folks. All those, take note for what Sandy's saying here. A bunch of notes there. Right, he's been dropping a lot of great nuggets here. Put that shit down, baby. Hashtag WTSD is right here. WTSD hashtag. I'm gonna get that up here so everybody sees that. Step up to stand out. Hashtag WTSD. Get you some, man. Just having a fun talk here. I forgot that we have to ask other questions, right? So, I'm the guy with the funny accent, which I get now, as I've traveled around the country the last 10 years. And Frank Eckert will have a good laugh at this. You know, I walk into the room, it's the guy with the funny accent. I don't hear it, obviously, because I'm from the New Jersey, New York metro area, but I get outside of this area, people have a good laugh. I can kind of relate, right? So he lives in Kentucky, and he's got this accent. This has been the best, most therapeutic conversations I've had doing this podcast, because I've spoken to so many people that sound more like me, and then I get a little deeper with the accent, right? It gets a little. Lou, where are you from? What's your roots? I'm actually from Long Island. I'm born in Long Island. And shut the front door, bro. What part? Valley Stream, Queens. I mean, I was born in Hempstead. Yeah. Hey, by the way, you know, I know Manhattan is the center of the world, but my man Larry Moskowitz says all the time, everything emanates from Queens. Everything. I agree. Right? I agree. But it's crazy that's what's still connected us. We have this entire car business of funny talkers that find a way to get into a conversation together to help dealers on the lot, on the ground, on the pavement. Right? These solutions come from cyberspace, show up to the lot. A salesperson watching a video, a sales manager is finding a new product. Many different things are happening from this incredible world of social media and the digitization, right?
Whoa, yeah.
Of our business. 40-point Scrabble word, Lou. He's throwing down on Scrabble. I love it. Put that on a triple letter and everything. We have this entire business has been transformed, right? We're building a relationship. Yeah, you posted or put up a question before from Frank Eckert. He said, you know, what do we see in 2021 with the changes in the car business? And I would say this in terms of how we communicate for certain is what I'm seeing on the front end of the business right now is that there's been almost this trifold in terms of how we're going to market and how customers want to do business. And it's, you know, you still got the traditional folks that say, like, I've got to go into the dealership, negotiate my car deal, take delivery of the car the old fashioned way. There's still a portion of the population that's more comfortable doing that.
and we cannot just leave them in the dust, right? So we've got to be able to handle those. And I think that's the easiest piece of it. Then you've got the hybrid piece where people are actually transacting online. They're gathering information online. They want to work the deal online. They want to be able to give you a deposit before they come in, get the paperwork prepared before they get there, come in, and they want to do the wet signature piece and take delivery of the vehicle at the dealership. And then you have folks that, whether it's COVID related or just convenience related, it makes no difference. And this is where you're going to pandemic proof your business, by the way. And I am trademarking that right now, pandemic proof, FYI. If you want to pandemic proof your business, then your dealership needs to be able to at least meet people where they are in terms of what they want the experience to be. And you've got to be able to do the entire thing digitally online, 0 wet signatures, if you can, in your state, and then either deliver the vehicle to them at their home or at their office or have it shipped to them. You've got to be able to figure that piece of it out, because if you're not hitting on all 3 of those ways to buy a vehicle these days, you're missing opportunities. If you're trying to force people into a way that you're comfortable with, you're losing business. There's no 2 ways about it.
And I agree with that. And that's where, like, even to add to that just a hair, is that it's the same thing, when he's talking about those 3 different ways of being able to help somebody purchase a vehicle. But that's also like why I'm so passionate about subprime. Yes. People, you also need to include subprime in your dealerships, folks. There's too many.
100%.
I've been having so many. I've been on a few shows recently talking mostly about subprime. One was, when I was over there with you guys on D-Win, which was a lot of fun. I got to talk about subprime there. I was recently on Paul Meyer's show. Paul Meyer's Sunday Night Live.
Oh, good man. I love Paul Myers.
Good man. And he loves you too. He thinks you're great. And
he's a good dude.
He really is. And sitting down with Paul, talking to him about subprime, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and start asking me about, hey, how do I get my subprime department to work? And that's the word that I immediately was like, you don't call it a subprime department. That's why you're failing, because you're making it a department. You're making it completely separate. It's like you might as well go get another building and just make that your subprime store, right?
Their customers no different than anybody else.
Right. They're not, and they're human beings. They all have hearts in them. They all have brains in them. They all have motivation. They all have something that was not so good in the past. Maybe they're down to their last $11. Maybe they just lost their business because of COVID. Maybe they just went through all the stuff, right? They all need a chance. So just treat them right. And when people miss out on that, that's another opportunity. I didn't mean to get too far onto that, but I know that.
But you raise a great point, because Lou alluded to it before we started the cameras rolling. Lou said, we're not selling cars. We're solving transportation issues or challenges, right? And that speaks to the bigger picture, right? If we were just here to sell cars, guys, we'd be stuck in 1974, okay? And I'd still be cleaning the cigarette butts out of the ashtrays of a 75 Grand Prix. Like, that's not where we are today. It's completely different. And when you think about it in a bigger perspective, that's when the magic happens. I agree with you 100%. Subprime has to be a huge piece of your focus, because there are a lot of folks out there that, 10 years ago, they weren't subprime. 2 years ago, they weren't subprime. Today they are. All right. Treat them the same way. They expect to be treated like a human being.
Always, and I'm not saying everybody that comes in subprime you can help, but there's a majority of them that you can, and that's very simple. It's as simple as submitting the damn deal. So I'm gonna leave it with that.
Let's correlate that real quick, because the reason why I believe that your consulting is so effective and so good, it's because people can understand what Sandy knows at the top of the hill, and that Sandy is also actually cushioned by what he's learned at the bottom, right? There's this full spectrum knowledge that you have of knowing what it's like to have it great, have it collapse, have it rebuilt, and then help somebody else rebuild.
It's empathy. It's Gary Vee says all the time, it's empathy, fellas.
Yes,
that's right. And you have that not just for your clients, but ingraining into this culture that we need to have that for our customers, because they've been in the same spot. So many people have been Sandy Cerami 2019 or 2009, right?
Yep.
People have been there. And there's so many people, because of the pandemic, that were not pandemic proof, that are now trying to find a way to produce the things that they still dream, right? That this stuff is not going to stop you from being great if you stay focused on it. Those
absolutely
you talk about. Right. So I want to ask this question that would help us kind of maybe key all this together on that end. What would you say, Sandy, to somebody that is in a similar situation as you, somebody that is trying to find a way to rebuild themselves or get themselves hoisted up enough for them to start really running, start really moving? What would you say they should focus on in order to right now start to see results in their growth in this business, what would you say to that person?
It's a great question. So I'm going to give you the best answer I possibly can, and it's based off of real life experience. First thing I would say is you've got to turn that voice off inside your head that's limiting you, that's telling you that these are all the things you can't do. I'm not telling you to go to the top of a building and put a cape on and try and fly. That's craziness, right? What I'm telling you is that in a proverbial way is you've got to get started. And the way to get started, I think, is to change that messaging in the 6-inch space in between your ears. You've got to start to tell yourself things that are more positive. I'm not a guy that's standing in front of the mirror with positive affirmations. I'm not knocking it. It's just not my thing. That's not what I do. But I read, I listen, I participate in programs like this. I'll watch videos. I continually pour vitamins into my eyes and my ears on a regular basis that are positive, that get me to think better. I look and it's aspirational. I take a look and I see people that have had success in a way that I desire, and I look at what they've done, and I become a student of the things that they do on a daily basis, the way that they think, because how we think is everything. Okay, it's going to determine your course of action. It's your true north, ultimately, how you think, because it's going to lead you in the direction that your mind and your heart takes you. But you've got to turn the negative off, and you've got to start to fill your ears and your eyes with positive every single day. And you said consistent before, Lou. You're absolutely right. That has to happen every day. You don't allow yourself to miss a day is the point. If I'm driving from client to client, I'm listening to a great book or a podcast or an audio program every single time, with rare exception. If I feel like listening to some music, I'm going to listen to music that I love. But I want to keep this thing singing on a regular basis and this thing humming on a regular basis.
I love that. And I love that you brought up music, folks. I absolutely take key from what he's just said there. I follow that. I look at people that are doing similar things that I like doing. I take note on how they're doing it, what their message is, and what they're bringing, and not necessarily trying to copy exactly, but it motivates me. It lets me see, hey, they could do this. I have time in the day to do this. They're doing this. I should be able to do this too. And it's not that you're trying to be better than other people. You're just trying to be the best version of yourself. And in order to do that, we're
be a better you. You're exactly right, Fred. Right. Be a better you.
That's it. And when you start to realize that you can, all you have to do is just be better than yourself. And then as you do this, a year goes by, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I've grown a whole lot. I've really come up so much that I'm very proud of what I've done. That you're talking about, what brought you up. You said positivity, the mind, the attitude determines your altitude almost 100%. Actually 100%.
Yes, sir.
Not actually.
100.
And you're so right on that. When you focus on negative, you become negative. When you focus on positive, you become positive. It's all about the mindset and the 6 inches between your ears, right? And
it's the mental diet, fellas. It's the mental diet. Be careful what you're putting in there.
It truly is, and it's a powerful, powerful thing, to the point where you could even make yourself sick because your mind's so strong, right? And so understand that when you wake up, your days are not, there's no such thing as a perfect day. There's days that you feel perfect, but there's no things are going to happen throughout that day that you're going to be challenged with. If you can remember to have gratitude and positivity, and every time something negative happens, let's say a failure happens in that day. The failure is great. Learn from that failure, grow from that failure, and move on from that failure.
Come on.
Lou talks about forgive, focus, fly. We talk about forgive, focus, fly. I know I always talk about Lou.
Yep.
The forgive is 90% of life is forgiving all the bullshit and all the crap that you've done in the past, and just let it go.
Forgive yourself first, right, Fred? I mean, Lou, you're spot on. Forgive yourself first.
It's hard to do that, but it's not. If you really just say, onward, I'm done. It doesn't, because you can't change anything that you just did 2 seconds ago, even 1 second ago. Everything that you've said, words that have come out of your mouth, the actions that you've taken, it's over. It's done. You are not.
I think we speak it into existence, right? And thoughts become words, and words become the direction that we choose. Yes. It's really a micro consciousness, right? I made a decision years ago. I can't tell you specifically when, but I noticed at a certain point in my life, I was doing a lot of this, a lot of the head going this way. And I said, man, that's no way. I got to start doing this. I got to get the head bobbing up and down. I got to be positive. I got to be saying yes more than I'm saying no. Now, that doesn't mean I say yes to everything, but my point is I want to be in a more positive, agreeable frame of mind.
We mentioned earlier about permission granted, right? The yes. What it is
right.
that I value so much inside of the lives of like fathers that step up to be stepfathers, right? Or people that step up to adopt It's their yes. I honor your yes. When I look at my guys on the lot, I honor their yes to today. Come to the lot and bring their best. That yes is key. And you pointed to the heart earlier, saying that it depends on what's happening right here, right?
Yep.
And the word says that as a man thinketh in their heart, so is he.
Yes, sir.
The thought pattern from the brain has to connect into what's actually pumping from the heart. What at heart you believe you are.
Yep.
When that takes action, when that takes flight and connection, whatever it is that you point your energies to, then becomes. That's it. I'm not going to say something else. It's just
no. It becomes the result. By the way, that's exactly right, Lou. It's I give you 100% foot stomping amen on that. Like how we think and how we speak determines where we're going and how high we're climbing. There's no question.
That's right. That's why it's important to guard. It's important to guard what it is that goes inside of that 6-inch space. It's important that you don't let the negative get in there. You let that stuff bounce off. It's important that you continue to feed yourself and that you grow a little bit every day. If you're a business owner, you have to be doing something every day if you're passionate about it to grow your business somehow, whether it's you had a conversation, whether it's you did a whole new process or you created something new, something to advance your business every day is the commitment of most business owners that find some great success. And you've done that each and every day. That's something that I do honor, but I honor your words because it's just true that what goes in is going to produce.
Yeah,
what
absolutely
will grow. It's just facts. It's the way that the kingdom is designed. Seed, time, and then harvest. It's going to have all of those.
Yeah, you can't speed that process up, bro. Right?
Time.
And
then harvest. And that's where people get lost.
Time is a beautiful thing. Time is either it's something that it kills you at the same time, but you understand that time heals, time brings, time breeds, time grows. All these things that time does for you, it's huge. It's important. But a lot of us think that we have, when we're young, we feel like life's never going to end. Time, there's so much time. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'll sleep all day tomorrow and just sleep through the weekend because I'm hungover. Doesn't matter. Well, as we get older, we start to realize how important every minute is, how important every day is. The moments that you have with the loved ones, because you start to, as we get older, we have losses in our lives. We have family members that have left.
Yeah.
And some of them left at the right time. Some of them left early in life. So we understand how precious every moment is. So you have to work towards that every single day to make sure that you don't waste too many of those moments. Because every moment that goes by, it's gone. There's no such thing as I'm going to get more moments back. I can't go to work and make more moments, make more time. Yep. I can go to work and make more money. I can go to places, make new friends. I can do this. I could do all that. But my time is gone. It doesn't matter what I do. It's disappearing. So don't waste that time. I'm still a young man. I'm only 41. I turned 42 here in about 4 months, but it's still very young. I got a lot of time left in life when it comes to time, when it's, as in years, but who knows, tomorrow or today, who knows what can happen? Who knows that if I can even come home tonight?
I think it's a healthy balance, Freddie, of you're playing the long game and the short game at the same time. And when you finally come to that understanding that there's a long and a short game going on simultaneously, and that you have to have this patient sense of urgency, and it's a balance. Like you have to understand, it's just like driving in traffic, right? Life is just like driving in traffic. Right. You've got to know when to put the foot to the accelerator, when to tap the brakes a little bit. And that's a guttural instinct, the feel that you get if you're listening, right? You've got to be tuned in the right way. And that's why it's so important to pour the vitamins into the ears on a regular basis, because it helps you think with clarity. It helps you think with more balance. It helps you think differently. It expands the way that your mind is working when you're listening to what other people have to say from a positive perspective, or people that are where you aspire to be ultimately.
That's right. Faith comes by hearing.
I love that. And it's so true. And honestly, that's exactly where I'm going to get to with this fifth question. And this fifth question that I'm going to have, wow, I can't believe we're getting to the fifth question.
Speaking of time, where has it gone?
Speaking of time, when you're having a good time, time flies, folks. And that's the craziest thing. When you're really wanting time to fly by, it goes by extremely slow. Yep. When you're having fun, it goes by fast, but that's okay. I'm okay with if my life goes by like this, if I enjoyed the whole damn thing, right?
Amen.
You won't mad. But when you're stressed out all the time, it's going to seem like your life was super long. And you're like,
every car guy I know is going to renegotiate at the last second. All right.
You know it. So out of all this time of your life that you've had and all the accomplishments and all the people that you've been able to touch and help and all that stuff, there's always been that one reward that's really sticks out to you. The thing that really makes you go, I'm so glad that I did all this stuff in my life because of this thing. What is that reward to you?
It's today.
Oh man, I love it.
I get today. I get the chance to do it again. And I don't take that lightly because, I think about the darkest moments in my life where, listen, quitting was something that crossed my mind. I have to be honest with you. If I said anything else, I'd be disingenuous. And so where I'm at right now in my life is I'm thankful for today because it's an opportunity to make it better. It's an opportunity to make it better for somebody else. It's an opportunity to see my wife's face, my kids, hear my son's voice because he's away at college right now. It's the chance to get to do something today that's going to make me happy, make somebody else happy, help myself. Today is what I'm happiest about.
I love that answer, man. That's probably my favorite answer so far. A lot of people, there's a lot of great answers. There's no such thing as a wrong answer to that question, right? So, but
it's just the answer. That's it.
But I love how that just came right out of your lips, and it's like you just felt that and you knew it, and that's genuine. That's that whole genuine side, folks. If you all saw that, like today, he has another opportunity today. He woke up today. That's called gratitude.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people don't realize how important how crazy that is. And there's probably, I don't know how many people what the number is, but that did not wake up today. There's a lot of people who went to bed last night and that was the last time they ever opened their eyes, right? Last time they closed their eyes for themselves. And it's a sad thing, but they win in peace, hopefully, right? But that being said, that's
we hope so. We hope so. That's not always the case, as you guys know. We don't get to make those decisions.
We don't.
They are made by someone else. That's for sure. But
Absolutely.
you worry about the stuff you can control and not the stuff you can't. I think that you've got to live life. Just a big thought. You got to live life. You can't live, locked up in a house somewhere. You got to get out there and experience it physically, emotionally, spiritually, the whole thing.
That's it. And folks, listen, he is a very, as you can see, he works on positivity. He works on having a great attitude when he wakes up. He has the gratitude, but does bad things happen? Yes. Bad things happen to people who are optimistic people. Bad things happen to positive people. But here's what they do. They get that bad thing, they learn from it, and they throw it away. They let it go. Hey, next, what's the next thing that's going to happen in life? And that is the key. Bad things happen to good people. Bad things happen to optimistic people. All that stuff. So don't sit there and think just because you're positive or you see a positive person on there that he never deals with the struggles that you're going through, folks.
There's something coming down the pipe. I don't know what it is, but just be prepared for it and make sure you strengthen this thing and this thing so that when it does happen, you can power your way through it. You get knocked down, you got to get back up again. It's just that simple. Get back up one more time than you get knocked down. And that is the key. Keep it simple.
Before we get to the fresh news, I just want to throw in a few comments that people have thrown out here. We have, Mr. Boudreau. He said, "Great job, guys. Enjoyed
$1 million name."
You got Jason Garris, who says, "People love imperfections because they just might think."
Yes, sir.
Themselves. That's right. Then we got Mr. Steven Loxton. Thanks for jumping on, Steven. He says, "What up? Looking fresh, guys."
What up, Steven?
Brian Norris, man, I've been really liking Brian. Brian's been commenting a lot. I really appreciate you, Brian. Thanks for jumping on today. Fear is our biggest enemy. If we can overcome the fear in our own head, the sky's the limit. Facts. That's exactly what we've been talking about.
I'm coming at Brian Norris on social media. I'm coming for you, Brian Norris. I like the way you're thinking, baby.
He is. He's awesome. If you're not connected with him already, you need to connect with this guy. Brian has a very good way of commenting on posts, also just bringing out light, and he's very intuitive. And I love what he's talking about because he's right. Then we got John Pellegrino. He's a local guy. Actually went to high school. He's saying whether it's paper clients or subprime clients, they are both friends, referrals you can capitalize on.
Yes. Yeah. He's talking about those A-tier customers.
Yeah. And then only thing in life that doesn't have a price tag is time. Time is the most important value of life. Fact.
But I would say it does have, it's got a price tag that just, it's infinite. It's the most valuable damn thing. No doubt. Yeah. Priceless. 100%.
Sure do. And then at the end, let's do it, Brian Norris says. All right. So, but man, this 5-liner was amazing. We got to learn a lot. I learned so much more about you, Sandy. And I think we're just scratching the surface on just Sandy. Sandy has a lot of experience. Sandy's been through some stuff. He mentioned his dealership earlier, folks. He talked about how his wife said those 4 amazing words to him that helped him understand. And it's,
Mhm.
I believe in you. And that is so powerful to have somebody with support like that, especially when it's somebody like your wife that understands, hey, we're here, but I believe in you.
She uses 4 other words, Fred. She says you drive me crazy. So it's not the only time she uses 4 words to describe me.
Let's see. Christopher Mulligan. He says, great content today from all 3 of you. Excellent information and nuggets.
That's my man.
Go
That's
after
my
him
buddy.
again today. Thanks, Chris, man. I appreciate that.
Yes,
Man, I even like how he spells it with the
been
Y
fun.
on there. That's
Yeah.
very unique. I like
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
It's a way to be different.
All
way to
right,
stand
so
out. Well, I do want to say that this has been a great five-liner with a
Oh, thank you,
car
fellas.
guy.
I'm humbled and honored. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. And we are saying that from this cafe, you are 100%
Car Guy Coffee approved. That's
are-
right.
We are
Amen.
so excited to go on to this next piece of fresh news. Car guys and car gals,
Yeah,
make
we're
sure
gonna
that
get
you
some
tune in for the next part. We will be right back. This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy,
It's Fred Lenart's the subprime hero.
and we are brewing solutions with the solutionist himself,
Sandy Cerami.
We will be right back, car guys and car gals. Get ready to do your dancing. Everybody knows the tune and everybody knows what to do, but what I really do enjoy is the
All right. Well, we are back. We're back here with Sandy Cerami. Now, Sandy, we're not going to take too much more of your time, but I do want to bring out some fresh news from you. I want you to talk about what you're currently doing, what your business is doing, how
Sure.
they can get a hold of you, and all that type of stuff. So this is like all about you right now. I mean, this whole show's been about you, but let's definitely bring that out because people, we've talked about Sandy, we've talked about his past, we've talked about his influences, we've talked about so many things that are so important. But let's talk about how you can get a hold of him. Let's talk about his business right now. Let's get into
Sure.
that.
Yes.
Sure. Easiest way to get a hold of me, you can call, text, whatever you want. 201-753-1234 is my direct line that goes right to my hip. I take calls 24/7, 365, guys, from clients and prospective clients and people that just are looking for a quick answer. Because I used to lay in my bed at night in 2009, 2010, praying that the phone would ring with a new client. So I take the calls, Friday night at 10:30, Sunday morning at 6:30. I mean, I take the calls anytime that they come in. So 201-753-1234. Easiest way is usually if you text me because I'm usually working with a client or doing an awesome podcast like this. And then my email address, you guys have been flashing on the bottom of the screen, sandy@sandycerami.com. Or you can, reach me on any one of the social media platforms that are out there. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, easiest place to find me. Just search the name and I'm happy to meet you wherever you want to.
He's got a unique
ultimately.
name, folks. You'll find him, I promise.
Well, that's how you get a hold of him.
What was that phone number one more time?
Yeah.
201-753-1234.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
So inside of this fresh news session, real quick, we're good. Got it? Does that look right?
Bam.
Can you see
That's
that?
it, baby.
Boom, looking good. So, Sandy, what is popping right now? There's so many things that are shaking, so many things that are happening inside of the car business right now that is making so many people be open to learning. That is not an easy task inside of this car business. Once we find something that works, we kind of stick with it for a while until we forget what got us there. right?
Yeah,
And
no question.
always be learning, always growing. What is it that's happening that's fresh with you right now that you're seeing happen amongst the dealerships that you're out there helping to grow?
Great question. So, specifically in our business at Sandy Cerami and Associates, we're growing our business right now because there has been a tremendous shift due to the onset of the COVID pandemic, right? So we're seeing how people do business has changed dramatically, and it's changed forever, not just for now. It's changed forever. That doesn't mean it's completely transformed, but we're going through that process right now. So we're working with dealers on both the sales and the service side to address the changes that we're seeing. You see what's happening on the fixed operation side of this business right now, guys, is the intervals in between services continues to grow. I see a lot of the manufacturers that are migrating towards more of a time interval versus a mileage interval to address that need. My man David Boyles over at Tire Profiles talks about tires being, the new interval service that we've got to take a look at because it's the #1 defection point in dealerships. So we're hyper focused on that. We've just linked up with those guys to try and bring content and also products and data that help dealers make better decisions and help their customers more effectively as it relates to the tire business. Doing some work with Scott and Jameel over at J&L Marketing in Kentucky on the digital side because that's become a huge component on both sales and fixed operations. They've got some stuff that is just absolutely unbelievable that nobody else is doing out there. Jameel Zabaneh, the president of that company, is listen, I think he's a genius. I really do. I think the guy he's the sharpest digital marketing and digital advertising mind that I've come across. And that's not a knock against anybody else. It's just that, he's my guy. I listen to him.
Wow.
And so what are we doing inside of dealerships? The #1 thing for us that we focus on is something that we call the killer culture blueprint. And the success or failure in any organization, whether we're talking about a car dealership or any other business out there, can be directly traced back to the type of culture that the ownership or the leadership in the organization drives on a daily basis. And the culture is sometimes a culture of confusion. Sometimes it's a culture of apathy. Sometimes it's a culture of high performance. Sometimes it's a people first culture. But getting crystal clear on what it is that drives success in your organization is the key to developing a killer culture blueprint so that you can get everybody on the same page so that people know what a great job looks like. They know what a poor job looks like. Get focused on, helping customers solve their challenges. What I really want people that we're working with to do is to understand that when their clients or prospective clients have a question or a challenge that they need answers to, it's their phone that rings, right? So what usually happens for me is when a dealer principal or a general manager or an executive at one of the consolidators, whether it's public or non-public, makes no difference. When they're not sure what to do, that's usually when my phone rings, right? So I want the same level of expertise and authority for the people that I'm working with and that we're teaching on a regular basis to aspire to. I want them to become an authority, somebody that's known for having the answers or being able to get the answers for clients and prospective clients.
Like a good car guy. That's exactly what we
That's
want
it.
our customers to believe, right? If there's a problem with your car, call me. If you don't understand something about your car, I want that relationship. And I may not be able to fix it, right? Me and all of us are
Yes.
exactly the guy that's going to crawl underneath the car and do a whole lot, right? There's people that do that professionally, and we're going to let them do it, right? But we can connect them to that. I want you to call me.
Absolutely. We call it owning the driveway. It's something we've actually trademarked it called Own the Driveway.
I love it.
I want salespeople in this business, selling professionals. I hate the word salespeople, like selling professionals because it's a verb. Selling is a verb. Let's make sure we're clear on that. Like selling professionals, I want you to own the driveway of every customer and prospect that you interact with, meaning the average household has 2.3 cars in the driveway across this country. So just because you delivered them a car today doesn't mean you can't prospect for that second, third, or even fourth vehicle in their driveway right now. Great example of that is my wife, Mary. We purchased a vehicle for her back in May of this year. And about 6-7 weeks later, she was rear-ended by a 17-year-old girl that never hit the brakes. And she was in the market for a car 7 weeks later. If you're not staying in touch, all right, or staying attached to your customer and staying in front of them, so you're the conscious top of the mind decision they make when they've got a question, you miss opportunities like that when we were at high noon. You got to make sure you're available when prospects and customers are at high noon. It's critical.
Come on.
I love that.
So true. And that the experience they get is genuine. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they're going to quickly go to somebody else.
Absolutely.
Right? But it all comes down to that killer culture. And I love that you brought that up earlier too.
That culture.
And I know that you talk about that a lot too. And that's so
it's everything. It's everything.
Everything is that, could you get away with it without having a good culture for a moment, but you want to make everlasting long results. It's your culture. 100%.
If you want sustainable, high performance, sustainable retention with your employees and with your customers, and sustainable profitability. Now, sometimes that means you're not going to hit the highest levels of profitability, but if you want sustainable profitability over the long haul, you need a killer culture blueprint to work off of, because you talk about, leadership, accountability, recognition of a good or a bad job, and retention. Those are the elements that drive a killer culture in any organization. And when we've gone outside of automotive, I've worked with ESPN Radio, I've worked with Cablevision, which is now Altice, Gulf States Toyota. There are organizations like that big, that are out there where killer culture is just as important as it is in a single rooftop dealership or a small, regional group where there's 5 to 7 dealership rooftops, as much as, the Lithias of the world, the client of mine, Lithia Auto, where you've got 200 dealerships. Culture is everything.
There's so many elements inside of culture. I remember watching you on a show not long ago where you were talking about culture, and I had to jump in there and comment and speak about just how important it is that the culture gets established with a like language. In any culture, there's a language, whether it's hip hop, rock and roll, whether
Absolutely.
it's American, or whatever, wherever it is that you are, the culture has its own language, and it's key that everybody learns it. Right?
Yep.
If they don't learn it, then you can't unify in order to accomplish anything. Right?
Absolutely. And it's verbal and nonverbal, Lou. You're absolutely right. It's verbal and nonverbal cues that a killer culture will deliver. People do not quit companies. They will quit a crappy culture.
Right.
Okay. They won't quit the company. They won't quit the people that they're surrounded with. It's the ultimate filtration process, right? So great culture will spit out people that don't fit. Doesn't mean they're bad people. Just means that they're not right for the culture of that organization. And when you have everybody singing off the same hymnal, as they say, it's music to everybody's ears.
That's right.
I agree.
Right.
I've had people come into my dealership that were great salespeople. They just didn't work. It was because my culture and the way we do things is so different than the average dealership that it was like so outside their box that they're like, now they're 20, 30 car salespeople. They do that month in, month out. But they come to my store and they were struggling. They were like, whoa, these are a lot of phone calls you got to make every day. They got to do so much. I'm like, yeah, I know it's work.
Hello.
But I'm giving you thousands of leads to have access to, so just call them, But people, but everyone has a different culture. When you come from a store where lot ups are plentiful and you get tons of that, and you don't have any problems, and there's decent credit coming on a lot, you're not really worried about how good are you on the phones, right? But when you have a culture that teaches you how to be really good on the phone, and teaches you how to do this and how to get every piece, if I'm like you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, I'm going to try to get every part of the market. I'm not going to miss this and that and this. I'm going to make sure that I hit this market, this market, this market, this market, and I'm going to have a market share of it all, whether it's subprime, prime, whether it's new car, used. I want to get all of it. I want it all.
Absolutely.
Here. And I don't want to miss any of it, because even if it's just that one deal, that's that one deal. It's that one person I got to help.
Sure.
And end up becoming, hopefully, a client for life. Give me tons of referrals. That one deal could turn into 20. You never know. And that's
amen.
That's the whole purpose of that. So the culture is cool. The culture is key. If not all cultures are for everyone, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you weren't a good salesperson. If you came to a store, it didn't work out, and that's rocking and rolling, just means that just wasn't for you. You had to go find.
That happens.
It
happens all the time, right? So we see that on a almost an epidemic level in our business, the level of turnover. And the biggest question that I get very often from dealers and GMs is, how do I solve the retention issue in my dealership with respect to employees? And that conversation always, 101 times out of 100, always goes back to, let's talk about the killer culture aspect of your business. What 3 things is your dealership known for internally amongst the employees? Like, do you make the first day, week, month, and year special for everybody that you allow to become part of your organization? What are you doing to signal to them that they've actually started on a career path, not a job? They've started on a career path that is going to take them through the first day, which is exciting, the first week, which is incredible, the first month, which is like transformational, and the first year that sets them on the path for the next 20, right? If you're doing something that focuses on your people that way so that they can develop over time, and that you actually are making that investment in them, the retention piece is never a challenge. Ever.
And is also primed enough to help them get refocused after that third month when they crash and they say, oh man, this doesn't happen automatically. I have to do everything I did the first month, right? Because
Right.
everybody has seen those salespeople that'll come in, kill it, doing great, made more money than they've ever made, and forget everything that did it. Now they know everything. They have the dealer's license. They can do it all. But that culture has to also be able to say, hey, we're going to lift you back up. We're going to
absolutely
where it is that you are, and you're an important piece of this organization. And we can only propel forward if everybody is believing in each other. And that's
absolutely. It goes back to that analogy we used with our kids walking before.
That's
right. You know, they're going to fall down. We got to help pick them up. You know, we can't expect people to know how to deliver 20 cars in a month within 60 days. Look, we know the whole ignorance aspect of it. When people come in and don't know any better, and all of a sudden they deliver 18, 20 cars in their first, 60 days.
Just based off enthusiasm. That's just all enthusiasm.
That's exactly it, right? They're excited and people feel good about doing business with them. The truth of the matter is that we've got to be, as Lou said before, we've got to be consistent.
Yes.
Got to be consistent.
It is. Consistent is a huge part of what we do here at the Car Guy Cafe. And that's something that we preach to a lot of people is the consistent. And you're going to start seeing that even more with us, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Yes.
But Sandy, those things and all these points that you're talking about, the culture of the dealership, the encouragement, the understanding the positivity, having the why, having all these things that you're talking about is why you are who you are. We're so honored to have you here today, Sandy. Honestly, I'm looking forward
back at you, fellas.
I'm so looking forward to growing even more with you, getting to learn more about you, becoming more, somehow I want to partner with you in something one day. Yeah. And I do. I have a feeling that we're going to. I really do. And whether it's now, whether it's 5 years from now, it doesn't matter. I'm going to always keep this network going, and I'm always going to make sure that you and I always have some kind of kinship going, because I definitely love picking your brain. I love watching.
No, right back at you, fellas. I love the energy. I love what you're doing. To return serve, you guys are on the right path. I love the branding piece of it. I love the content. You're bringing content that's relevant to your audience. You've matched the content and the audience piece, which is the key. And I love the way you guys approach things. So yeah, we are going to do some more together. We'll figure out what that is. When the time is right, it'll present itself. We don't have to force it. And that's the important piece about being organic and authentic and really not trying to imitate anything. Just do it, the way it comes naturally to us, and it'll ultimately reveal itself to us over time.
Absolutely.
Real relationships over revenue.
100%.
We are
yes, sir.
On that. We are going to be rich people forever, and rich because we have each other. We have people. We have great relationships.
Amen.
That we can dig into.
Absolutely, because money will come by doing the right thing over and over and over. If you keep doing it, you keep growing. You keep forgive, focus, flying. You keep being a solutionist. You keep doing what you're supposed to do every day, and you keep growing. I promise you, the money will come.
Yep.
If you don't worry about money, money won't worry about you. It'll just keep landing in your lap. So, Sandy, I appreciate you for being here this morning. I'm looking forward to seeing you hopefully here in about a week or so in town.
Yeah.
Make sure you
I'll
reach out.
keep you posted. I'll keep you posted.
Come out and have dinner with you guys or lunch or something, but we'll make that happen. I appreciate it, folks. For all y'all, if you all trying to get a hold of Sandy at sandycerami.com. He's got his phone number here, 201-753-1234. How easy is that to remember? So make sure you guys reach out to Sandy. He's got solutions all over the place for you. Just give him a holler. If you're in the business, even if you're outside the business, but you're in sales or you're in some any type of thing that you just need a little boost, give Sandy a call. Sandy's an all-around guy. Trust me, he has life experiences too. So make sure you reach out. We're excited. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here today, my friend?
I just want to say, step up to stand out, my friends. I mean, if you want to do something special, you got to step up to stand out, and do not be a snowflake. All right. If the shit gets hard, you got to get harder. It's that simple.
Come on.
That's a good one.
Man, what a way to take
Step
that out.
Step up to stand out, folks. Don't be a snowflake. Let's go. Well, we appreciate you. We're ready to get into this day. Folks, it is Tuesday. Get your Tuesday rocking. Hope this got you guys motivated, because I know I'm motivated. I can't wait to get to work today and solve a few more problems, because that's what I am. I'm a solutionist myself.
Yeah, baby. Let's go do it.
Right. All right. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you soon.
This is
All right, guys.
Car Guy.
And this is Fred Lenars, the Subprime Hero.
And we have been brewing solutions with the solutionists.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. You have a great day, folks.
Have an awesome day. Cheers.
We'll see y'all soon.
Rise up.
Solutionaries rise. That's right.
Get your car guy coffee. Get your car guy coffee, baby.
That's right. Get you some.
www.carguycoffee.com. Go to coffee
Amen.
top. Boom. We'll see y'all soon.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Focus.
Focus. Live.